Which country should the BRICS Bank be situated in? Well, let us know by tweeting us at hashtag PowerLunch410 and hashtag BRICSBank. Francis Kornegay, who's Senior Research Fellow for Emerging Powers, or on the Emerging Powers Program from the Institute for Global Dialogue, is with us in studio. Francis, at Davos this year, I got to ask the Brazilian President, Dilma Rousseff, about the BRICS Development Bank. You will recall that the previous meeting here in South Africa, there was lots of talk about it, and then it all went quiet. And she said, well, after the World Cup final, we will be meeting. We know Brazil's out of the World Cup now. And so the news suddenly leaks about the Development Bank. She did say that she would make it the priority of her term as the head of BRICS to make sure it happens. And now it's on its way, but it's not coming to South Africa, the HQ.
Well, we don't really know, well, at least I don't know where it's going.
Well, the Russians have leaked it. They've said it's going to New Delhi or to Shanghai. There was no mention of Durban, Johannesburg, Cape Town, which is sad, because we were hoping it would be here.
Well, I think there's a good reason for it to be here, particularly in terms of the South African financial industry. I mean, this is one of the more sophisticated, world-class financial sectors compared to the other BRICS countries, for that matter, in terms of currency and so forth. But it's a very political. But that's a very political issue, and it's something that that could raise a lot of questions, particularly if it is situated in Shanghai, mainly because China has a number of other development finance initiatives on the burner. Its primary focus right now is on the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. That's its big initiative right now. You also have something called the Shanghai Cooperation Development Bank, which has been something of a batting back and forth between Russia and China on how that's going to be set up, whether it should be built on the Eurasian Development Bank or, as China wanted, a completely new bank.
Yeah, these are kind of off the agenda for a South African perspective, well, because we want to know, how is the infrastructure program in this country going to be funded?
Exactly.
Will the BRICS Development Bank be a source?
Well, yeah, and rightly so. But in getting but you see, all of this has to be fitted within the big picture of the fact that what BRICS, I think, has brought onto the global agenda is a new generation of development financing, which obviously is needed because the incumbent Bretton Woods institutions just do not fit the demand. But when you talk about the BRICS Development Bank within the context of these other initiatives, including, for example, the China Africa Development Fund based in Nairobi, you have to wonder, what is what, and where will all of this fit in terms of meeting various demands. So we're going to have to see. Well, obviously, the BRICS Development Bank is going to have a major infrastructure focus. That has been a central point.
The Bretton Woods institutions are based on the fact that you have to all make a contribution depending on the size of your economy. And South Africa, strangely enough, was funding Europe when they needed the bailout over there, despite the levels of where we are. And the BRICS Development Bank, how's it going to be funded? Is South Africa going to have to put in, or would the rich countries, i.e. China and Russia, be the ones funding it?
Well, there's been a lot of debate on that. I don't it may be that that some of the slack will have to be taken up by China and/or Russia, you know, in the interim.
Because then surely they would want to have the bank in their country.
Well, yeah, that's
they're funding it.
Yeah, that,
like the Americans and the World Bank.
Yeah, well, you see, that is part of this. That is part of this dynamic in terms of where the bank is going to go.
Is it going to be a good thing for South Africa that there is a BRICS development bank?
Well, I think it will be, because there's a pressing need for infrastructure financing. And you need to have, and you see, the problem is that globally there is a huge demand for infrastructure development, not just in developing countries, but in developed countries as well. Infrastructure is a major is a major item. Either building infrastructure or refurbishing infrastructure that has aged and so forth. So, so you need to have an institution or a set of institutions that provide a universe for infrastructural investment, and the BRICS Bank is being viewed, at least as far as Africa is concerned, as a major source that will provide that.
Interesting conversation. Francis Kornegay he's a senior research fellow on the Powers program from the Institute for Global Dialogue.